Go for it.
basically to observe and just get an observation. Yeah.
Okay, yes, okay. Thank you so much for coming, guys. We have with us today, very honored to have Marla Press, Dion Blackwell, and Carly Bonderud, all of whom are here because they're interested in the affiliate collaboration relationship we've just begun. They're getting a chance to see more about what I do. I'm sure I'm going to do some of the same as we turn the page with what they do. And we'll go from there. So I'm just going to give an overview. It might be a little bit different, not as if I'm coaching you, but just bear with me as I adapt it to the audience. Good. So we're ready to go. And let's do this. 30-second maximum. 30 seconds. Who you are and what you do. Marla, starting with you.
So my voice is, whoo. Yeah, I'm a public speaking coach. And I founded the Speakers on Fire Academy because I want to get you guys who are speakers fired up about what you do. And I want you to get your audiences fired up so they're excited to work with you. And I do one-on-one coaching. I have these awesome boot camps and longer programs that are elite programs. So in a group, we do experiential exercises and you build more confidence, how to wow your audience, and how to build trust, because you need all three of those to be an awesome speaker.
Beautiful. Sounds
I actually
great.
have a masterclass coming up too on Tuesday, so I can put that in the chat if you're interested.
Beautiful. Dion?
My name is Dion Blackwell. The name of my company is Nirvana Lifestyle Network. I do personal and spiritual development programs. And my methodology is around urban planning, economic development, and human capital development to help people have an experience of looking at how to redesign their life.
Thank you so much, Dion. Next, Carly, are you able to?
Yes, at this moment, my children are quiet. So my name is Carly Bonderud, and I help women plan amazing hands-off natural births, either at home or within the hospital environment, so that they can release their fears and experience birth the way they always deserve to experience it, because it can be transformative. My clients are typically women who have had disappointing or traumatic birth experiences before, were told that they couldn't do it, and then they go on to have these beautiful natural births that the medical system basically said were impossible. And I have my camera off because today I have my kids here and you can hear my daughter in the background.
Okay, Carly, thank you so much. Okay, all of us fascinating people, and I hope that this is the beginning of a mutually beneficial relationship between all of us. So for the purpose of this presentation, generally, I'm not a big guy on PowerPoints, but some of the points that I'm going to bring up are pretty important for us to see visually. So I'm going to go ahead and use it. Basically, my program is called 90 Days to Transform Shyness, Insecurity, the timidity, stress into assertive confidence forever in all different aspects of your life, love, and career. You know why you're here, so we don't have to go over that. So I think that we would all agree that no matter what area of life we look at, whether it's our business world, our personal world, at the end of the day, our overall communication skills are very critical and extremely important assets that we can have in order to succeed in today's world, especially in today's world where we've lost that personal touch. And that extra edge really comes from mastering our communication skills. So that's what we're going to focus on today. How do we master our communication skills from the inside out? I couldn't put it more simply than that. That'll make a lot more sense as I go through the presentation. Uh-oh. I have to stop sharing. I'll come back. Give me a second. Can you all see that?
Yes.
What do you see?
We would all agree that.
Yeah, and it's not the slide is not moving for a reason. I got to do it, I think, another way here. Hold on. I'm going to go like this. Yeah, now I'm going to share it. It's not working. Oh, okay. 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 So this is for people like if you're a prospect speaking in front of a group and you find that terrifying, a lot of people are afraid to get up in front of a group. I'm sure Marla, you're well aware of that.
Oh, yeah.
Your knees shake when asking someone on a date. You cringe at the prospect of asking for a sale. We can all relate to that. Going to a social event is like going to the dentist. I'm sure that's not the case for most of you, but for some it is. You freeze at the prospect of asking for a raise, and you certainly dream about being admired and respected by others. These are just some of the things that we can relate to, and maybe the reason that you wanted to come and attend this webinar. Now, I just want to make it clear that this program that I've developed over the years, the 9-step formula, doesn't come intellectually. It comes partially intellectually, but mostly from my own personal experience. I was from a family where my brother, 4.5 years older than me, was a hard act to follow. He was number one in his medical class, great athlete, so good looking they called him Dean Martin, and he was popular as hell. I was popular, but I was very insecure. And insecurity shut me down so many times. Even if I'd go on a date, initially they might have thought I was okay looking and interesting. After 20 minutes of asking them question after question after question, and then trying to prove myself, they quickly feel this guy's not all that attractive. So there was a lot of rejection, a lot of pain, low self-esteem. And it's one of the reasons I immersed myself in the one thing that I was really good at was sports. So I became obsessed with sports. That's good. But if you become overly obsessed with any one thing, as you know, it's not so good. So everything I am sharing with you today comes, I assure you, from my own personal growth, my own transformation. The only difference being it took me a hell of a lot longer than it need to take. And one of the things I pride myself in the formula that I'm going to share with you today is that it speeds up. You don't transform, none of us transform completely ever, but it speeds up the person's ability to experience a deep level of inner peace, inner tranquility, mental toughness, focus, self-confidence, and based on the relationship you have with yourself, that oozes out, and we begin to master our communication skills, be it in the business entrepreneurial world, the corporate world, or our dating/soulmate world. Because I'm a true believer that when we learn to accept, adore, and love ourselves unconditionally, we become like a 24/7 walking love machine, loving others, receiving love back. Life becomes fun. We get into that soulmate vibe, or we get into that entrepreneurial, confident vibe. And when you have that vibe, you have a lot greater ability to attract people into your life. At any point, please stop me, put up your hand. If you want me to clarify something, happy to stop. So unless you raise your hand, I won't see it. So the question I ask my potential clients is, after years of being in doing personal development, reading books, attending the rah-rah seminars, which is not a criticism. I've attended them, many of them, benefited by all of them. So this is not a criticism. The question is, after doing all that, how are you doing? Are you really at a high level of self-mastery and communication mastery? Or are there things that are holding you back significantly that you still feel the need to transform? So let's take a closer look at where we all are at. Now, I'm not going to go into depth with this questionnaire unless one of you, squeeze my arm and make me do it. I'll do it if you want. But in the 30 years of coaching, I would say that this is one of the top 3 tools that I've ever given any of my clients or potential client. Why? Because when they come to me and we agree that things are holding them back, it's not enough to be vague in general. It's not enough to say then, oh, okay, I have the solution for you. I want to know why, and I want them to know why. So it's very important to very specifically do this evaluation that I ask people to do. These are only some of the categories, not all of the categories. So what I do is I ask them to rate themselves from 0 to 100%. 0 at the lowest, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, up to 100. Most people are never at 100. But if they're feeling great, it could be 75, 80 plus. If they're so-so in the middle, 40, 50, 60. Crummy, 20, 30 or less. So I'll ask them to rate themselves on every one of these categories plus other categories in my training manual. After they fill this in, I'll ask them to circle the lowest 7 numbers that they have. We want to hone in on what the lowest ones are. And when we do that, I then ask them, I think it's, see, circle the lowest, I use now 7 numbers. So then I ask them on a sheet of paper or on their laptop to create 3 columns. Left column, top of the left column with an M for motivation, the middle column A for action, and the right-hand column C for communication. So I'll ask them, one person, and the rest could do it on their own. I'll say, okay, one by one, tell me which categories are among your lowest. Go slowly. So they'll say health and fitness level. I put that under M. Patience, put that under M. Career, put that under M. Time management under A for action. Assertiveness under C for communication. So they'll have a range of the 7 in differing ones. Most of the time, 4 of them, 3 or 4 of them are under M. 1 might be under A, and 2 might be under C. So I talk about MAC, and I explain to them that the vast majority of people, the stuff that's holding them back, reside in the M section. Now, even though you might have 2 or 3 categories in the C section, let's call it assertiveness. If assertiveness is one of your lower skills, then you're in the lower skills because of underlying M factors. If you lack the ability to be assertive, you're probably bogged down with fear and insecurity, which goes back to M, the emotional, psychological stuff. So I like to show them that so that they see that the vast majority of things that are holding them back are in the M level. The M is for mindset, motivation, mastery, inner power. That's where the engine, the ignition, the power, combustion has to start from. If the M part is weak or battered or affected in a negative way, and you don't have that pedal, the ignition, the combustion to get the rocket ship off the ground, anything related to action in A or effective communication in C is going to be limited. So then I ask people the following question. Look at all your numbers. I'll ask them to look at all their numbers. And I'll say to them, if you and I meet each other in 1 year, we don't talk for a year, and I meet you in a year and we do this exercise again. And if nothing changed, the numbers stay exactly the same. Then I asked them 2 questions. How do you feel? And most of them would feel disappointed, bummed out, crummy, whatever the words be. I also asked them the question, if your numbers stay the same for a year and you had to predict how much money you would be earning from your business, and the vast majority of people that do my programs are entrepreneurs, so they're able to make more money if they need to. They're more on commission basis or sales plus commission. So people will say 30,000, 40,000, 60,000, whatever it be. Then I say, if I had a magic wand and put it on your forehead, and magically starting tomorrow, you were working at 90 plus. We're never perfect, but 90 plus means you're pretty damn high on all of the categories. You couldn't be more motivated, confident, assertive, better at communication, conversational skills, networking, friendships are great. You're with your greatest soulmate, earning money out the yin yang, traveling, having fun. We all want sort of similar lifestyles to some degree. So if I touched you on the forehead and you were 90 plus on all of them, how much money would you likely be earning at the end of the year? And a lot of people will say double, triple, 500,000, a million. I say, even if you cut that in half, you're still leaving a lot of money on the table. So then I asked another question. If your cell phone, if you wake up tomorrow morning and your cell phone's working at 30% efficiency, how quickly do you call your phone company to get it solved? And they say, immediately. Laptop, immediately. Vehicle, immediately. How many of you get up in the morning, look in the mirror and say, oh my God, I'm only working at 20, 30% of my personal skill capacity and my communication mastery skills. Oh my God, I need help. Marla, Allan, Dion, help me. I need help now. Most people wouldn't do that. And that's the sadness of where we're at now in the world. We'll do everything we can to turn our technology around. But when it comes to us, we're placed on the back burner and then wonder why we're living in a mediocre way. Now, some of it has to do with technology. That's not my expertise. If you need technology help, there are plenty of people teaching how to work technology and social media. That's great. That's not what I do. But I do know this, that if you actually focus on the soft skills and bring yourself to an extremely high level of inner peace, contentment, self-acceptance, self-mastery, mental toughness, mental focus, determination, and start mastering the art of all your communication skills in a more succinct, clarity way, you can't help but significantly build your business, no matter what technology you use or don't use. So people understand that. So the question that I ask people, one of the next questions I ask them is, this is critical. Many people that I deal with or have a session with or meet on the fly, when I ask them this question, are you clear about what you need to change? Are you clear about the areas you need to improve upon? Most of them will say yes. The other question is, how emotionally fed up are you? How fed up are you with mediocrity? There's a difference between knowing something and emotionally being fed up that you're then willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. And the only people that I can really work with are ones that are connected on an emotional level. Like, you know, I've tried this, I've tried that. I've spent 5, 10, 25,000 on self-development. They're all great, but still I'm at the same place. Are you fed up? Yes, I'm fed up. Well, here's an alternative. The last thing I'm going to do before we go over the 9 steps is I just want to use this little map to show you the philosophy within which I created the 9 steps. Because when I started out in this industry, I looked around and looked at all the people that were spending all the money and still not getting help. And then I thought, hold it. If Marla, you're a physical fitness trainer, and I'm 100 pounds overweight and I'm in terrible shape, you don't have me read a lot of books. You don't have me do a lot of or listen to a lot of rah-rah seminars. You're probably going to get me on a fitness program. I call it an inner fitness and verbal fitness program. No, sorry. If you're a physical fitness, you get me on a program, a physical fitness program in the gymnasium. I work out 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week. I'm going to get in good shape. So years ago, I realized if that's true for physical fitness, the same should be true for inner and verbal fitness. And I always wanted to connect the two, self-mastery and communication mastery. I was telling a friend the other day, 2 of my women friends who are highly evolved, tons of self-development, tons of spiritual evolution in their life. And they'll call me to ask me how I would communicate with a guy that they want to let go in a relationship, or they're having a particular challenge. Allan, how would you handle this? And they want my communication expertise. And I said, well, Allan, could you make the phone call on my behalf? So these are people that have done so much work on self-development, but we forget that part of self-development is communication development. Because you could live in a cave like I did for 9 years and meditate as a monk. And I could be quite good at meditation and feel pretty calm. Then I go out into the real world and I meet a young lady that where my knees are shaking because I'm so scared and I have so much fear of rejection. All of a sudden, I'm off my monk's game, because that's where communication comes in. communication will trigger deeper levels of personal mastery or emotional psychological stuff. That's why a lot of people say you can only come so far, beyond which you can only grow in interpersonal relationships. There's a bit of a truth to that. So very quickly, we all want to live the dream lifestyle up here. Now, in order to speed along to achieve greater levels of our dream lifestyle, we need to communicate with people every day, both personally and professionally. What I've learned as a communication coach, 20% perhaps is content and technique. 80% is oozing out from the inside. So now we got to look at what's the inside all about. Well, we've got emotions, we're humans. We've got a rational mind, a thinking mind. We got a physical body, and we got what I call the Zen zone. I purposely call it the Zen zone. I don't want to get involved in religion. Everyone sort of knows what Zen means, Zen out, clear. Let's talk clear mind. That's the extent in which I'm going to use to name what I call like the higher self. We got the Zen zone. So the more I access a calm, clear, centered mind, that big mind navigates the ship. Then I'm going to take that big mind and manage and navigate my emotions. I'm going to manage and navigate my mind. I'm going to navigate my body, living a balanced or an imbalanced life. Now, if all four cylinders are working at a high level, I'm passionate, I'm joyful, I'm loving, my mind is clear, I'm creative, I'm a thinking person, my body is doing all the right things to live a balanced life, and I'm living more and more in the Zen zone. Those four will empower my communication, and then the content and technique is easy peasy. You put them together, now you got a winner. And you would know, Marla, if I'm sure your clients get on stage, there's a difference between people giving perfect content, but little personality, little confidence. But you inject that power, that inner power, enthusiasm, passion, belief, it radiates. People smile just looking at you. Now you add in the content, now you got the skills to take your business to whatever level you need to. So I always like to say that the work I've done with being a former Zen monk is I've got this extra edge to what I do, which is inner fitness. And if you get fit on the inside and then double down on the communication fitness, there's no way you're not going to achieve what you are setting out to achieve. Any questions so far? I need one small question to take a break from speaking. Just one quick question.
I'll do a comment instead of a question, just to give you a break. But I just want to really emphasize what you're saying is so important, because I say this all the time. Communication, I say it's only 10% the words you use, 20% your tone of voice, and 70% your energy. It's your body language, your confidence, it's your passion. So I love what you're saying, because people they focus too much on what they're going to say, whether they're giving a speech or they're trying to go on a date, whatever, right? They focus on the words too much. And that's the first step, is really that energy piece. So what you're saying is so important.
Well, thank you, Marla. And that leads me to one thing I always like to mention in every seminar I give is people ask me, who is my best mentor? And I have a number of mentors, but the funnest mentor I have is the one that has taught me more about joy. What you're talking about, Marla, is the intangibles. When you're living with joy, that's why the great personality, Dean Martin, is my favorite all-time personality. I watch 2 or 3 of his videos every day. Why? Because he opens up his smile, he smiles, his eyes he radiates a person who doesn't give a shit about what people think. He loves himself, he exudes joy, and you smile. And 10 million people watched him for 10 years as a #1 variety show. And he never went in to rehearse. He didn't want to try to be perfect. He just wanted to be himself. But people loved him, not because he was perfect. Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett were perfect singers. But his producer, Greg Garrison, said, Dean Martin wasn't the greatest singer, but he was the greatest personality. And that's, I always tell people, and they say, oh, could you send me some of his clips? I'm always happy to. So if anyone wants me to send him some clips, I'm happy to do that. So what are our alternatives? So we know what's holding us back. We know we want to get to the next level. We haven't got there on our own. What do? We could go back and get some formal education. Like I got a bachelor and a master's degree. As nice as it is, I don't think it taught me very much as it relates to what we're talking about tonight. You could get life coaching. Life coaching are great. Counseling is great. You got a great cheerleader. You got a lot of good advice, not criticizing it, often not enough. Motivational rah-rah seminars are inspiring, and we need that, often not enough. Therapy, good luck with that. I've been through therapy, grew from it, benefited from it, not enough to get to the highest level of fitness inside and out. Medication, you know what I'm talking about. So what I've done over the years, I went into the laboratory and I started to realize that this whole thing about knowledge is power, which I often hear thought leaders say, knowledge, how many people believe knowledge is power? Everyone puts up their hand. Well, I believe knowledge is power in some cases. If I want to become medical doctors, we better study for 7 years and get a lot of knowledge. That's true. But when it comes to personal mastery and interpersonal skills, I often think the opposite is true. The heart is power. Listening skills are power. Patience is power. Compassion is power. And some knowledge is helpful. I'm not saying it doesn't help, but the heart is power is even more powerful, as far as I'm concerned, than the mind is power. So over the years, I dedicated myself to creating a system that has come to being, and it's my 9-step formula. And I've been teaching and training hundreds, if not thousands of people, one-to-one in group, now scaling it as I focus more and more on teaching people how to become a certified trainer of what I teach. So I'm going to end this session by just very quickly taking you through what the 9 steps are. I'll open for questions. We could wrap up and you can have a wonderful rest of the weekend so you don't have to listen to Allan Knight anymore. You've had enough. Number 1, stop, look, listen, like we just did. We rated ourselves. Have the courage to look in the mirror, self-assessment, self-evaluation, connect with your present. And every month I ask my clients to redo this assessment exercise so that literally, practically see the scores increase. Easy peasy. Step number 2, connecting to our past. So much of what holds us back has to do with our past more than our present. Now, some people argue, especially my men friends, say, oh, I know what held me back. We know the past is the past. Let's get on with the present. I say, yeah, no, I agree with you. I want to get on with the present. What I'm talking about is not the past. What I'm talking about is the past that's living in our physical bodies and our emotional bodies in the present. So when I thought 15, 20 years ago, I thought, wow, I'm ready for my next soulmate. I've done so much work on my self-development, ready to go. I wrote out exactly who I wanted to meet. 2 weeks later, I met her at an office downtown Vancouver. I looked at her from the other room. My knees started shaking and I froze. I couldn't even open my mouth. That was how much that impact her, not just physical attraction, but energetic attraction, caused me to get triggered to show me how much more psychological and emotional stuff that I had not healed from, even though I thought I was ready to go intellectually. But in reality, I had a lot of pain ahead of me, I can tell you that. So number 2 is all about neutralizing some of the power that the negative mind and emotions have over us. So I have what's called Zap the Past exercises, 2A, 2B. 2A is, do you still hold grudges, resentment, anger toward any others? Or are you one of the few that has completely, genuinely forgiven people from your past? If you have, we go on to 2B. Maybe 60% need to do the Zap the Past exercise. Then we move on to number 2B. Even if you have forgiven everybody, and some Jews forgave Hitler. So if Jews could forgive Hitler, we can certainly forgive mommy and daddy or a boyfriend or girlfriend. So 2B is, even if you have forgiven everybody from your past, others, are you still too self-critical? Are you still too hard on yourself? And I have to say, that question brings 90% plus going like that. So we have to do a zap to past exercise. They're fun. They're not easy to do, but they're fairly quick. And you could rid yourself, you could decrease the power of some of these emotional, psychological points that are like poison in your body that will affect everything you do, think, and communicate. So as you go through these zap the past exercises, you start to feel, a new sense of relief. Now we can replace the negativity with the positivity, because the next step is connecting with our vision. Now it's time to clarify who you are, what you want. And it includes a brainstorming exercise if you're not clear on what your true passion, mission, vocation is. I have a special exercise that will help you absolutely to get clear within 30 minutes. We teach people how to do an impact visioning process and create an inner warrior attitude that's akin to saying, nobody, nothing is going to get me off track from living my dream lifestyle. So we teach a variety of vision muscle building exercises. So now going forward, you're rooted in a strong, powerful vision. So step number 1, 2, 3, easy peasy, 1 week, 10 days, pretty well a done deal. We can always refine them, but pretty well done deal. Now we go to the more difficult part. Number 4, connecting with your inner power. If we are going to manifest that so-called desired lifestyle, we need to have a strong inner core, and our inner muscles must be toned up and in shape. So I have a variety of inner fitness exercises that will help different arenas. 1, transform any negative belief into a positive one through a 3-part process. And as you go through one and really root that out, we go on to another and another, and we do about 5 or 6 of the biggies that you need to transform your belief system, because they're still driving you even if you think they're not. And once you've done 5 or 6 or 7 of those, then any new ones that come up that you're reminded of, you can zap them. You're on your own. Now you got your inner fitness exercise to do that. Teach you how to channel fear, anxiety, depression, anger, frustration into joy, passion, and abundance of confidence. And lastly, there's a variety of exercises that you can choose from. They're not always obvious, is how to get into the Zen zone and stay there. And a lot of people think that means, oh, he's going to teach us how to meditate. No. As a matter of fact, I learned a long time ago, after being a Zen monk and trying to teach 2 of my women friends Zen meditation, the more Zen I taught them, the more angry they became. The more I learned, no. Everyone has their own methods of getting in the Zen zone. It could be hot yoga. It could be 70% of my women clients blast music, chant, sing, dance, go crazy. After 20 minutes of that, they're more in the Zen zone, and a Zen monk or nun is in the Zen zone. So there are many ways. There's not one way. That's something I learned early on in my career. I never wanted to impose what I believe worked for me. So we help you with the turbulent emotions, build your inner fitness exercises. Now you start to develop an inner power and a mindset. So when you walk into a room, people, don't be surprised. People look in your eyes and say, are you in love? Wow, your presence. You seem so confident. You seem so content. You seem so happy. Inner power, critical. But is it enough? No. We got to go on to our action power, developing our lifestyle around us power. There's inner power, outer power, 4 and 5. 5 all is about actions. So here we have what's called an action and a personal accountability system. I have a procrastination exercise that you can easily overcome, a personal tracking sheet, prioritization exercise, a success partner support. You start to do these little things week after week, day after day, and you start more consistently getting off track. And if you get off track, we have some interesting ways to help you get back on track, with tough love, by the way, but it's still with love, so that you get to the point where you never look back. You're so rooted, you never want to get off track. And you're now 4 and 5 are working at a high level. 4 inner, 5 outer is your total personal power. Now you're really tapping into your personal power, which leads me to the next slide, which is my favorite. Busting through the barriers, dealing with the obstacles, challenges, I call them the Scud missiles of life. Because you and I, no matter how good we feel inside, no matter how good we feel in terms of our actions, we're going to get tested. They might be small, like you live in Vancouver, like Carly does. It's sunny, you go out 2 hours later, it's pouring rain, Carly gets pissed off. It's a small Scud missile. Someone steals $5,000, $10,000 from you, medium-sized Scud missile, hopefully. Someone you love has 4-stage cancer, that's a major Scud missile. And when my twin soul Susie was diagnosed with cancer, that I had to practice what I preached. So what I did is felt it, the pain, channeled it, expressed it to myself, got back in the zone, prayed, powered myself, took my energy, sent it toward her lovingly, prayerfully, ongoingly. I spent 2 hours on a plane from Seattle, one-pointedly praying and sending her loving vibrations. The irony, the last 2 years of her life were the best time we had communication-wise. So whether it's a small Scud missile, a medium, or large, we got to learn how to pick ourselves up, acknowledge it, feel it, ain't going to feel good, channel it, express it, and release it, and get back in the zone faster and faster and then faster. That number 6 is the true test of self-mastery. Because I don't care how positive someone is, I don't care how great their life is. If something curveball comes, like you'll see this with a lot of movie stars, they have everything going for them. Then you see them interviewed and they're a basket case for 2 years since something happened to somebody. Not that it's good that it happened, but a lot of us allow those circumstances to get the best of us. We then become the victim of the circumstance rather than the master of navigating the circumstance. That's the key. And the faster we navigate ourselves back into the zone, back in the zone, back in the zone, back into the super highway of life, when we demonstrate that we can do that more and more and more, quicker, 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 now we're living like I'd like to believe I am, at a high level of self-mastery. That's when the magic really happens. Because now we've got that inner freedom, the self-mastery, to learn some higher level, higher and more advanced motivational techniques that zap some of the more subtle things that are keeping us from soaring. And we tap into a level of grace, of tranquility, of harmony, unlike any time before. And we start to release our personal magnetism because all of the chakras, so to speak, I don't use that word, but all the steps, the 7 steps, are working positively for us. It starts to release our greater potential to communicate effectively. So step 1 to 7 is all about empowering you, accepting, loving, adoring yourself like your own child. And I don't know about you, but I've asked that question hundreds of times to people. And to this point in my life, maybe 1 or 2 said yes to my question. Could you honestly look in the mirror and say that you accept, love, and admire and adore yourself to the level you do the same for your young children? And only maybe 2 or 3 in my entire lifetime said yes. And I still question it after a lifetime. Any questions before we move on to 8? Okay, now that we've mastered, speed up the process of mastering ourself, now we could really empower our communication because the rest of it's easy peasy. I could teach anyone good networking skills, connecting skills, understanding personality types, 30-60 elevator speech, easy peasy. It just requires a little ingenuity and creativity. How to connect with clarity, authenticity, and impact. How to overcome your fears in front of a phone or a mic like this. How to overcome fear in stage. Well, a lot of it has to do with getting clear on your message and again, repeat the message so you get used to it. So this is when we teach people all levels of communication skills, 5 different personality types, how to be a good active listener, art of networking, public speaking, selling, closing. And then, of course, for the people who hire me to meet their soulmates and quality relationships, we deal with it a little bit differently. when it comes, not the first 7 steps. The first 7 steps stay the same, but step number 8 is more about dating, connecting in a more romantic way, in a more personal way. So there, some skills are the same, some are not the same. So number 8 is all about communication mastery. And then lastly, I help people to get into legacy circles, because once you've worked on yourself, you feel a great level of inner freedom, gratefulness, gratitude to be alive, communication's going great. What do you want to do? You want to give back to the world. Just that leads me to the last thing I'm going to say about myself, that I have created this 9-step formula, and I'm not 21 anymore. I'm not 41 anymore. So now I want to share that, so that when I'm long gone, like Dale Carnegie, I'm not comparing myself to Dale Carnegie, only to say that he's long gone, but his methods still exist. So I'd like this 9-step system to exist. I don't care about them remembering Allan Knight, the personality. So this program is a practical transformational program. A certain percent of my clients that go through it say, I want to be a coach. I love this. I see what it does. I can apply it to any target audience I want: athletes, parenting, narcissism, leadership, entrepreneurship, soulmates, whatever. You could learn these 9 steps. You can adapt it to your personality, although you keep the essence of the coaching. And I want to have as many certified coaching clients as I can, and eventually in different languages. And then I'm looking for that one person that will either come in at that level and work their step, and I want to own this company one day. I want to become Allan's co-owner and then owner when he goes to the Starbucks in the sky. Because when I'm going to Starbucks. No, I think I'll choose a better coffee shop than Starbucks. But I will be up there watching everybody in the sky. It's a joke, personal joke I have with my good friends. So those are the 9 steps. Before I open it up to questions, of which I hope at least we get 1 or 2 questions. It's practical, it's results oriented. Once you go through it, not only do you speed up the process, but if you get off track, you now have a self-coaching system for life to get back on track. So you don't need another and another and another. And Allan Knight's 5 training programs, you don't need that. Maintenance follows, save thousands of dollars of further training, and you become your own coach. So that is pretty well it. And with that, I will shut this down, come back to look at all your lovely faces, and open up for any final questions, comments, insights you may have.
I have just the one comment. Allan, this is amazing. This is even better than the book that I was reading. Like, this presentation, what you have in this program, it's going to change lives. Wow.
That's very sweet of you. That motivates me even more when I hear that. So thank you, Carly. And you're going to be we're going to be part of each other's success. I know that too.
Oh, I'm cheering you on big time. I'm going to hold you to it to get this out there.
See, now the problem is you put Dion and Marla in a bad position where they can't now rip me apart after what you said.
Oh, we still could, but you know, no intention there.
What's that, Marla?
I said we still could, but no intention there.
Oh, that's a good point. And then you'll be testing me. That'll be my Scud missile of the day. That's good.
It's all about communication. It's communicating what you feel. It's not doing what everybody else does.
But any comments, because I know that you're all here, not so much to take the course, but to be potential collaborators with each other.
I may have missed it, Allan, but are you giving people the choice of working one-on-one with you or in a group, or does everybody work one-on-one? How do you do that?
That's changing. Up until now, I've mostly administered one-to-one, especially during COVID online. Now I'm morphing into the group. The group is literally starting in a week or two. For those that either don't want to do one-to-one, can't afford to do one-to-one, not that it's that expensive, it's not that compared to what some people charge, but I want to have people benefit by it. Maybe if they get a 1-hour session, group session on different powerful topics every week with guests. I'll have people like you coming on as guests as well and charge $197 a month. That's more affordable than paying for one-to-one coaching. So that's starting imminently. And I just have to decide what the referral fee will be, the affiliate fee will be on that.
I see. So they're paying monthly.
Yeah. So it's going to be a monthly referral fee. So if it's $100, you're going to get $100 a month from that person. Whereas the one-to-one coaching, you're going to get $1,000. Anyone you bring to the table is $1,000. If they become a certified coach, then it's $1,500.
Okay. And do they commit to a certain amount of months?
For what? For the one-to-one coaching?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an
The
8-week.
group. Yeah.
No. The group is different. The coaching, I take them through the program itself.
Okay.
So that's 8 weeks. It's an 8-week course. They can call
Got
me
it.
at any time. We're doing a lot more than the 8 weeks, but it's within a 60-day period. I want to fast track their ability to get to a very high level. But there's a lot happens in between. That's not just a weekly session. They can contact me. They can email me. I'm readily available at any time they need, if they truly need me. That's an 8-week course. The group is not, you're right. There's no ongoing commitment, but what I do tell them, if you're going to benefit from the group, you want to be around for at least 6 months. So I'm thinking in the next week, I'm going to make a decision. I might give a special where they could pay, let's say $197, which is almost $600. They pay $497 up front for 3 months. They save $100. But my goal is to give that percentage of referral to the referral as long as they're reconnect. But it's not going on forever. They could stop anytime they want.
Okay. Got it.
Any
Sounds
other
wonderful. Yeah.
Any other questions? Dion, do you have any last questions?
No, I'm just listening, and I think most of what you spoke gave me a clear view of what you do.
Wonderful. So listen, you don't want to spend too much time with Allan Knight on this beautiful weekend. Enjoy the weekend. If you have any private comments, questions, you're not going to hurt my feelings. If you have several things you want to say, Allan, to make it better, here's something you could consider. I'm open to it all. I've been around the block. My ego's not that big, the negative ego. Guys, have a wonderful weekend, and thank you so much for participating.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
the
Allan. This was awesome.
invitation.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good
Bye.
weekend. Bye.